You're listening to a Countout Podcast.
What's up, and welcome everyone to Faces and Feels Anything Goes. Back at it again, talking about wrestling, talking trash with my boy Alex from Vinyls and Violence. This is take 6,042 of us trying to record this fucking show. How you doing, man? Still pumped?
I'm still ready to go. That was a rough start, but we're here.
We've been fighting for our lives with this fucking thing, eh?
Yeah, it's been one of those days.
Yeah, it just,
for me anyway.
Yeah, it's just knocking the rust off.
For you.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've both had a little bit of time off. We've both been on leave and things like that. And apparently my entire podcasting setup was also on leave. And it did not want to clock back in, a lot like either of us at our day jobs. So what can you do?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I sympathize. I'm not going to be mad at it. But today, we're just going to catch up and start to ease our way back into wrestling. And see what has been going on. And I think since we've both been away and we've both had some holidays, I think we start with your big adventure. So you went to New Jersey, was it? For the GCW weekend. Atlantic City.
In Jersey, yeah, same thing.
I just know you got on a boat. I know you put a car on a boat and went on a boat.
Yeah, I have the luxury of, I can either drive like around up through Delaware and come back into Jersey. Take me about 3.5 hours to get there, or I can just hop on the ferry, and it's about an hour-long ferry boat ride, and then an hour drive there, and it's a very relaxing time.
Yeah, that would absolutely be my preference if I could boat anywhere. It'd be so good.
It's cool. It just doesn't run like super late, so like you can only kind of go one way unless you stay one more night and hit it again in the morning on the way home.
Sure.
So the ride home kind of sucks, but yeah.
What can you do? I had a bit of a ride home sucks situation. So before we jump into the GCW talk, I think we were talking about before I went about how we were going to go to like a beer and barbecue music festival in Mount Gambier, which is about 5 hours out of Melbourne. And we were going to drive in, hire a car, drive in, drive out. And that was like a really nice drive when we were cruising in. We head out about mid-morning, got there at 3, whatever it was. Very nice time. I tell you what, getting out of Mount Gambier, like 2 days later, we needed to leave real early to get back and not only drop the car back, but then get to New Bloom Festival where we were going to see bands like Drain, Balance and Composure, Basement. Who else was there? Glitterer. There was a Sweet Pill. There was a whole bunch of really cool indie bands that we really enjoyed. But bro, we left at like 5 a.m. and that was some of the most white knuckle fucking stressful driving I've ever done in my life. And I've put some Ks on some cars and I've driven for a living and I've done different things. But that, because it's like kind of foresty, getting out of there, a lot of kangaroos, a lot of them wanting to be in and on and under my car. At one point, we saw a fucking dead koala on the road. I've never seen a koala in real life, just like outside of a zoo. I've never just seen one in the wild, and poor little guy's just like there, and I had to go around him. That was horrible. I saw a human car flipped. Some fucking dude had drove into a ditch and the car was on its side, but there were already like people and fireys and cops there, so we just kept on rocking, But like once we got to like the first town after that, about 2 hours later, we kind of came back into a little bit more civilization and were able to, go to a McDonald's and get some coffee and some breakfast and then get ready to drive the next leg. I just needed to sit down for about, 15 minutes to just like let my entire body relax and fucking come back to life. Because I was just like locked in, on edge, eyes on a swivel. Like it's, that real stressful driving, like where you can't relax, because you never know if a bouncing fucking rodent is going to fly out of the fucking side. And we saw so many, like it was really, I would never do that drive again. Like,
Yeah.
it was hectic.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a mishap on our drive home too. So we were coming home and it just so happened to be during like the worst weather possible, like severe thunderstorm warnings the
Oh,
whole
wow.
drive. And it took me a very long time to realize that my GPS was set to where the ferry goes off, which is like not really where I wanted to be
You're like,
driving.
why am I driving through the center of this river? You're like,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
underwater.
like, I'm like, man, that's like, we're really close to the water, and then it hit me. I'm like, oh my god, we're going back to the ferry, which is like 30 minutes out of the way, which is not an extreme amount of time, but in the middle of the night during that kind of weather sucked.
Yeah.
So we get going back the right way,
Mhm.
and then we stop at the Wawa, which is, I mean, just a big what do you call it? Convenience store, gas station
Mhm.
local to here. Get back in the car, and then I hit the GPS to come home, start driving again, and realize I'm driving back to the ferry again. So I did it twice. I made the same mistake twice in one night.
Why did it keep repopulating to the same area? Like,
I,
why?
I guess it's because I guess it's because that's the way I took to get there, and it's like, oh, you would definitely want to go the same way you went. But I'm like, why would you route me back to water? Like,
My car's one, and you had the same car as me for a time. You don't anymore, but we both
yeah,
used to have CX-5s. I always make sure I put my Google, maps through it and take those maps, because if you take that fucking Mazda's like inbuilt navigation, it won't give up. It'll
yeah,
go, you go this way to go to a thing, and then I go, actually, I know this will be quicker. I go this way, and it'll go, well, then go back, and then go the way that I said, like, and it won't let it go. Like, it's so
yeah.
fucking stupid. It's like, follow me to the ends of the earth. And I could start driving in a completely opposite direction, and its only solution will be U-turn, go back to where you started, and then follow the exact directions I've laid out. So you just cannot fucking trust those inbuilt car
Yeah,
ones.
my new car has a really stupid navigation system too. So I have a little phone mount and I use my phone instead of the built-in
Yeah, yeah,
navigation
yeah,
system the car
yeah.
has.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I figure as well, like, Google Maps is updated constantly and live
yeah,
updated, by drivers marking things and things like that. Whereas, like, my phone's, my car's navigation system hasn't been updated since I bought the car like 3 years ago.
right.
So it
Yeah,
has
yeah.
it has no fucking idea what it's talking about. Yeah, that's it. So, did you have many friends with you, or like, I mean, at least you had
um,
somebody with you?
so my buddy Chris was with me. He did the show with us
Oh,
when
Chris
we first
Sherman.
started
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
this.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
Chris Sherman. He was with me and one other friend.
Hmm. Who
None
doesn't
of us
deserve a
were
naming,
happy.
clearly.
What was that?
Who doesn't deserve naming? It's a nameless friend.
That yeah, is very nameless. Very yeah. He won't hear this. It's
Yeah.
totally fine.
Chris
Even if he
messaged me
does,
the
it's
other day,
still
actually.
totally fine.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, they weren't too happy about the mistake being made twice, but I also was not either. So it's not like I meant to do it.
yeah, absolutely. Chris
It
messaged me
wasn't
the
just a
other
fun
day.
prank at like midnight. So
Yeah, yeah. You're like, this is the last thing we fucking need is more time like
yeah,
this. But yeah, Chris messaged me the other day because he wanted to talk about Crazy Fest, the El Desperado New Japan show, where it was like a triple threat death match with El Desperado versus Jun Kasai versus Masashi Takeda. And I haven't
okay,
seen it yet. And he's like, have you fucking seen it? And I'm like, I haven't had fucking time.
yeah.
I really want to watch it, and I'll message you about it. And Chris, if you listen to this, I still haven't fucking watched it, man. I've been so busy, but I will, and maybe we'll even get him on and talk about it if I can ever get the time to watch that fucking show.
He would love that.
Because I
Yeah.
want to so bad. He was a great dude. So yeah, absolutely.
Eh.
Yeah. So let's talk about the GCW show then. So was it a couple of shows over the course of the weekend? What was the deal?
Yeah, there was a Saturday night show and a Sunday night show.
Mhm.
They were both fine. I wouldn't say there was anything to brag about majorly. There was some good death matches. The other matches were just good. Nothing bad.
Uh-huh.
Just nothing to like really drive home, I guess, about.
Mhm.
But the death matches we had, Redacted versus Hoodfoot for the qualifying match for Tournament of Survival. That was an absolute banger.
Yeah. Those
And
two are
then
always so good together. Like, I feel
yeah,
like I love Redacted, and I feel like he really turned a corner, or really maybe not turned a corner, sorry words, turned people's heads with those like original Hoodfoot matches in ICW No Holds Barred.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
like the first time I ever seen him come off the top of something in a trash can and like things like that. And that's where like the Hoodfoot Mayor of Safety Town bullshit comes from. And like, and Redacted getting on the headset and being like, Struggles, tell this motherfucker, you know, all that kind of stuff.
That's got to be one of my favorite things Redacted does when he does the commentary stuff.
So
Like, because
funny,
him and Casanova Valentine used to do it pretty good too.
Yeah. That was then the next time, because like the whole gimmick is Struggles doesn't like Redacted, and that's why he'd be getting on the things. And then the time when both Cass and Redacted are on a headset each, the commentators are no longer even had it, and but they're not talking to each other. They're like, "Tell this motherfucker," and they're like face to face with each other.
Yeah, dude, that was so funny. I love that.
Casanova is so funny, man. I fucking can't tell you how much I rate Casanova Valentine. And like, I know he sort of goes through this thing where he doesn't really get the fucking, you know, props he deserves, and he sort of moves around, and he goes to different places. Like, he was just in Thailand and does all this kind of shit, but he doesn't really, I think, within the scene, maybe from his peers or whatever, get the sort of love or respect I think he deserves as the innovator he is. I mean, he fucking, you know, brought the no ring shit to America, basically. And and I think when it's all said and done, people will look back at what he did and be like, that's fucking crazy. But I really hope he fucking gets his, I don't know, day in the sun where he feels like, fuck, everybody gets it. You know what I mean? Like, I really fucking rate the dude.
He's a nice dude too. He's one of the when I first started getting into in death matches and stuff. He's one of like the first dudes that like I kind of like chit chatted with via message.
Me too.
Yeah. So he's easy to talk to. So
if you rewind like back all the way back to my earliest episodes, he was, I think, the second international interview I ever did. I think my interviews were like Joel Bateman, Neil Diamond Cutter, Casanova Valentine. I think they think that was the order. But I'd been talking to Cass for a while before, because I'd seen his documentary and I loved his like Twitter presence and things like that. Like his Vice doc is really good. If anybody has never seen like Casanova's Vice documentary, like that is fascinating and really fun. And so when I got him on, bro, I got up at like, it was some stupid time here, like 4 a.m. or whatever. And I sat there, like I just got this set up and things like that. And I sat out in my living room and literally talked to him as the sun came up, you know, behind me. I was drinking like, we were fucking having some beers. I was drinking like a Stone Cold IPA and shit. And we spoke, he gave me a lot of time. We spoke for a couple of hours. And it really was like, fuck, that was so fun. Like, we had so much fun hanging out. And then when they were all here for ICW No Holds Barred a couple of years ago, once all those shows were done, he was doing like a no ring show at the toe, and I went and met up with him, and we did one in person. You know, had a couple of beers together and podcasted in the beer garden of the venue and shit like that. Like, he's just a fucking great dude. Like, and
he is,
yeah, exactly. I really do rate him. So yeah, I want to see better things for him. And I mean, he helped kickstart the Australian scene with I mean, they did the Deathmatch Down Under no ring shows here before Deathmatch Down Under was ever a promotion. That was, you know, what kind of put Joel Bateman and those guys on the map for me. And we were gonna go. We were literally gonna fly over just for these like no ring shows, and then maybe catch. I think there was like a big festival coming, but then it was COVID, and like it was straight up like they fucking did they cancel my flights? I can't remember what happened. I think they locked it down, and I think I ended up getting flight credits or something. It's so long ago now. You know, you're talking 4 or 5 years ago now. But yeah, I never got to go to that one, so it was really like a wicked full circle moment when he eventually got to come, like with ICW No Holds Barred.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I forget why we started talking about Cass. Oh, just because, you know, him and Redacted kind of thing. But yeah, if Redacted's on the bill, you know he's going to give you absolute effort. Like, yeah.
And then so after that, the main event was Murdoch versus that new Mr. Danger guy.
Oh yeah, how was he?
So I didn't watch their first match, but I know a lot of like the internet like fans were giving him a little bit of shit about like I think he was a little padded up and wore a shirt and stuff, and everyone, you got your typical that's not, real death match take their shirt off, that whole
Oh, I
ordeal that
fucking hate that. Why are you
yeah,
so fucking
I
want to
know,
see dudes? Fucking
but
yeah, I don't get it. Yeah.
but he went all out on this one, and they killed it in that match. It
Yeah.
was fantastic.
Mhm.
That's the one I sent you the video where he goes up on the scissor lift and jumped off.
Yeah, I was happy to see they had a licensed scissor lift operator. I respected that.
I don't know that guy's name, but every time I'm at a GCW show, he's holding things down for
Yeah,
him.
sure, his ring crew or whatever.
I wish I could give his name out to give him some credit. I don't know his name, but
Mm,
props to the man.
exactly. Well, hopefully he is an accredited scissor lift driver. If he doesn't have his ticket, everybody just keep your head down. You don't want him getting any strife. Actually, it's America.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
nobody gives a fuck. In Australia, you have
that's
to have a
that's
license to
valid.
drive that
Yeah.
thing.
But yeah, that was a good show. The Saturday one, I can't off the top of my head, I can't remember like any of the
Oi.
other matches, but um,
Okay, quick
so
pause. 1 moment.
yeah.
All right. Brief dog break. Sorry, Alex. What were you saying? Mr. Danger, killing it. Scissor lift operators accredited. Go.
Yeah. So Sunday comes around and it's another pretty good show all the way through. But there was two death matches on this one too, and one was a scramble death match
Mhm.
that had Redacted, Hoodfoot, Slade, Jimmy
Oh,
Lloyd, John Wayne Murdoch,
what?
and oh man, the last person is evading me right now. But yeah, that was a really, really fun. Oh, Sickle Pay. He
Oh,
was the
yeah,
sick
great. Okay. Oh, wait, was
just
that
a
that the thing where he fucking landed on the door and landed on his head? Was that, or was that a previous week?
um I'm not sure. I don't know if that happened in this match. That
Okay.
might have been in a
That
previous
did
week.
happen to him recently. Like he jumped off something high. I thought it was a scissor lift. And there was a couple of tables stacked. Maybe it was with Matt Justice. I don't know. But anyway, he
Yeah.
recently landed on his head quite bad. So yeah, I wasn't sure if that was.
Oof.
Yeah, no, it didn't look good.
But yeah, that match was like a demolition derby of a
Yeah.
death match. Just yeah. But the main event for that one was Matt Tremont versus Beastman.
Oh Jesus.
And that they tore it down in that match. I mean, dude, they were taking like, back bumps off the top rope to the floor through tables and stuff. And those are big boys to be doing stuff
Yeah,
like that. Like dude, the
absolutely.
impact on that, you felt it.
Yeah.
But phenomenal match. I recommend watching all the shows. I recommend watching. It's hard to pick and choose, but death match. If we're sticking to death match, all the death matches from this weekend were phenomenal.
That's great.
So,
That's great.
and then there was a pretty good hardcore match on Sunday's show with it was Masha Slamovich versus Matt Justice for the JCW title.
Okay, yeah, sure.
That was really fun too. Anything Matt Justice does, you're gonna get some like very CTE friendly
Yeah, he's
chair shots, door shots, whatever.
Yeah.
Dude's an absolute maniac.
Yeah. He
But
absolutely is.
yeah, so I have nothing to complain about from that weekend. It wasn't the best show at the Showboat I've ever seen. I hate to say something negative, but it was still great.
Yeah.
I'd give it a solid maybe like 7.58 out of 10 for the whole weekend.
How was the crowd vibe and everything? Everybody really into it and stuff? I mean, the Showboat always looks like a really cool venue, so.
Yeah, well, now that it's in like the terminal, they call it, instead of the carousel room.
Yeah.
It's that big white room. I'd say the vibe's a little different.
The
There definitely
carousel
wasn't
room
as many
was
people.
iconic, eh? That was.
Yeah, so yeah, that had the big colorful roof, and as soon as you saw it on camera, if you were watching it at home, you knew exactly where it was. Just one of them vibes.
Yeah.
And now you walk through the hall, and it's like I said, it's a mini golf course in there. So it's
What?
yeah, they changed the whole layout of the place, and now they have the shows in this little room called, or not a little room, it's a huge room. It's called the Terminal,
Yeah.
and it's just a big white room.
Mhm.
It's a cool venue, as far as being there, because there's a lot of space, but it has no personality.
Yeah. How's the acoustics too? Is it like big and echoey because it's like just a big concrete warehouse?
Um, Not really. I mean, it's all fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I wish GCW would maybe invest in like some better speakers or more speakers. They just kind of had one loud speaker playing in the corner.
Yes.
So if you're right next to it, like we were, it was fine. It was too loud, honestly, if you were next to it. But if you go across, you can barely hear it.
Yeah. And that's somebody like as someone that sells audio and like understands audio, that actually kills me, like to hear it, because
Yeah.
it's like you can't really, like, it's not a bad investment to have like a good portable sound system. There's a few things you can do that don't break the bank either, but the difference
Yeah.
is it majorly increases the vibe because everybody can hear the theme songs and get down to those, but then you can also hear, the ring announcer and
Yeah.
any promos and things like that. So when it's all just running through like kind of one big speaker over in the corner that doesn't really cover everybody, like doesn't wash everybody properly, then it kind of sucks, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst I've ever heard in my life. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I love H2O with all my heart, but they have a pretty rough sound system in that place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard way worse, but for something like GCW, I feel like they could do a lot more, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you're talking about
absolutely.
like probably debatably the biggest indie promotion out there.
Yeah,
Should have a little bit of a better presentation as far as this when you're there goes.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. GCW, if you need any recommendations on some good audio equipment that you should be looking at, hit up your boy. I'll point you in the right
There you go.
direction. Yeah. Oh well, that's cool. As long as you guys had a good. And do they have like a bar in there and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, there's a bar in there, and it's Atlantic City, so there's no shortage of alcohol. You can drink anywhere in Atlantic City.
Is
It's kind of
Atlantic
one of them
City
things.
like Vegas, where you can just kind of drink like on the
Yep.
street, whatever? Yeah, yeah. We
Yeah, it's like a really shitty Vegas.
Yeah, sure. Like
Yeah.
the only time I've been in America was, I've told the story a billion times, but it was Vegas, Double or Nothing weekend. My wife and I got married, all that stuff. But when we went to the Double or Nothing after party, um, they had like a cool thing. LA Guns played like acoustic, and they had like this big room, and if you were, a ticket holder or whatever, VIP ticket holder, shut the fuck up, dogs. You could kind of go into this area and the rest of us were there and you could drink and stuff like that. But they only had like
Mhm,
one fucking bar, basically, with like two people on it. And the line went like this, like around the entire area. And so it's like
yeah.
you walk in, you walk to the right, you can join the line, and then you've got to lap the entire area to get around. And Amy and I look at this and we're like, this is Vegas. Why don't we just fucking go get like a daiquiri or something and come back? And
Right, yeah.
we're like, will they let us in? And we're like, probably. So we just like fucked off, 15-minute walk through the casino to like a daiquiri bar and had like double grade alcohol, fucking slushies or whatever, flashing
Yeah.
dice and shit, ice cubes. And we come back in and the bouncer doesn't even look at us twice. We just give him the nod. And then we're like in the fucking area, like with everybody. And everyone's like, where the fuck did you get that? And we're like 15 minutes that way. And then people were just
Yeah.
like leaving.
Yeah.
We're like, what's
And
the point for this hot beer out of an esky that there's only one bar? We're like, fuck this.
Yeah. I will say that, yeah, at the showboat for these shows, it is like just a cart that they kind of wheel in that's selling the alcohol.
Uh-huh.
And it is just one person behind it. The line doesn't get that long, but when you got one person doing everything for everybody, it holds the line up a little bit. So you do stand there for some time. Like we went up to get a drink and we missed a good portion of a match, and that was
Yeah.
unfortunate. But
That's what I
yeah,
mean. Like these kind of like little things, and this isn't like pointing particularly at GCW. This is just events in general. And we've had a few conversations on this podcast now about events being run well and things like that. And it's like just investing that like little bit more in things like, say, a second alcohol cart or a second
mhm,
speaker, and these things like that make like a massive difference to quite a few things. Not only to the people who are buying the tickets experience, the how everything sounds on camera and looks at things like that. It also would make a difference to like your alcohol sales and future ticket sales, because you'd be able to sell double the amount of alcohol because it never stops. It just means you
yeah,
can sell it faster. You know what I mean? And people can come back to the action and stuff. And then ticket sales, and you're like, man, we went out to there. It was a wicked weekend. We could get drinks easy. The music sounded awesome. All these things like ensure people are coming back. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't think that it's a waste of money to maybe, put on a second staff member and have more booze, and things like that.
Yeah, this one, I think it might have just been a venue issue. I don't know if I want to put that on GCW,
Oh
but
yeah, as I said, this isn't GCW specifically. I'm just
oh yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah.
when running events, and this goes to the fucking people that say, I don't know the arrangement, but say, the fucking whatever terminal room or whatever, that's their standard setup. We have this speaker, we have one staff member we trot out. When you see like the amount of ticket sales and things like that for a company like GCW, you go, you know what? Actually, next time we see them, we should have 2 speakers and 2 bars running. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, and that's just like venue management, which is a thing that fucking drives me wild as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like a pretty good weekend all in all. And then like at that venue, is that like a hotel? Like, do you stay in the hotel and then watch the matches in it, or do you just stay nearby, or how's it work?
You can. It's a huge like hotel, and the showboat they've kind of converted into this big like family friendly kind of resort. Like it has a water park, a huge arcade, a go-kart track, mini golf, which is different than anywhere else in Atlantic City because everywhere else is just a casino.
Mm-hmm.
But you can stay there. I personally don't because I don't feel like the value is right for the money.
Sure.
A little bit of a convenience, obviously, because you're staying right there. But the rooms kind of suck. We stayed there 1 or 2 times ago when we went,
Yeah.
and I was like, bro, we can just stay like right down the road for like less money and just take an Uber here or something like that. It's
Yeah.
it's really not that great.
One of those venues where they're not just selling the room, they're also selling the experience of all the different things you can access. But if you're not there for all those experiences and you're just going to a thing, then it's probably not worth your investment.
Yeah, and the place is massive.
Mhm.
So like it is a convenience because you're in the place that the show is in, but you're still walking a pretty good distance from your room to the room that is the show's taking place in. So yeah, you're in the same building, but it's easier just to get in an Uber from another place. Just go right to the front door and walk right in.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. No, that's it. Well, besides that, I get it. I guess what sort of rating would you give the weekend? I know that when we were talking about it, you were kind of like not really sure what to expect, because though it looked like some good matches, we're obviously on the road to WrestleMania week, and you're maybe feeling like they'd sort of held a few things back, and it wasn't really anything sort of super consequence. Great performances, but not really any story, like so to speak.
Yeah.
How would you sort of rate the whole weekend as like an experience by the time you're said and done? Not
I would
taking
probably
into
give it like
account
a
your own poor navigation on the way home.
okay, take that out of the equation.
Yeah, yeah.
Just from the shows and being in Atlantic City, I'd probably give it probably 7.5, maybe pushing 8,
Yeah, cool.
depending on
That's
more I
great
think
then.
about
That's
it.
money
But
well spent at that stage. Yeah, absolutely.
I have zero complaints.
Mhm,
It's little tidbit stuff. I
mhm.
let a lot of things. I let a lot of things that probably shouldn't bother me. I'm not a social butterfly. Anyone who's been around me at a show knows that much about me. I like to just watch the show and do my own thing.
Yeah. Mhm,
Everybody else kind of likes to party together. That's
mhm.
fine. I have nothing against it. I don't
Uh-huh.
want to be involved.
Yeah, sure, sure.
um, I went a little bit out of my way this time to take some selfies with some of the wrestlers
Yeah, I
and
saw those. They're great.
and stuff.
Uh-huh,
That was cool. I don't usually do that.
uh-huh.
But yeah, no, it was cool. I also forgot the Cogers were there, and they're always great on a show. So
Absolutely.
um, yeah. But yeah, no, zero complaints, zero real complaints, I should say. Yeah,
Yeah.
good weekend.
No,
Happy about it.
that's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about some upcoming stuff because I'm going to have some big sort of shows upcoming that are relevant to American companies, and I'm sure you might have stuff booked, or if not, there may be some things that you got your eye on. But
Yeah, yeah, I definitely have something booked coming up next
yeah.
weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Well, let's start with you then. What have you got next?
That company 7,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
they're show in Jersey, and we weren't gonna go at first
Mm-hmm.
just because we just got done with the Atlantic City stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
a couple of days ago they announced the main event was going to be Shlack and Masada versus Nick Gage and the Bev.
Oh, shut the fuck up. That's
I
crazy.
bought I bought a ticket 30 seconds after that was announced. I'm not missing that.
No,
So
that's
we'll be
great.
driving up for that for sure. I wasn't planning on doing another show for a while just because, yeah, like I said, Atlantic City takes it out of you.
Yeah.
financially and everything else. But I'm not missing that for sure.
Yeah, that is so cool. How's
Yeah.
Nick Gage been recently? Like since he's come back, I haven't really seen anything, but I've started to see him appearing on posters and stuff like that. And I know, like when he last sort of disappeared, he was kind of, not looking that great. Is he? How's he cooking right now?
I don't know anything about what he's got going on personally.
No,
But
I don't mean that. Just like physically in the ring. Have
no,
you
no, I'm
seen
just
anything
saying
since
like
he's come back?
because I know he's got a little, but whatever. Not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he as much as I've seen him, he looks great.
Mhm.
I saw him at that BCW or whatever it's called, Battleground Wrestling, back in like I don't know, January maybe it was, and where he wrestled Drake Younger, I think it
Oh yeah,
was.
sure. Mhm.
I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's who he wrestled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Drake Younger.
Uh-huh.
And that match was really, really good. And that was more hardcore than
Full death. Yeah.
death match.
Mhm.
But it was still great. I know he's about to wrestle Masada 4-7
Yeah, I saw that.
on their upcoming show,
Yeah,
and that's gonna be cool. But yeah, we're gonna see that one. And I mean, I know he did CZW. Didn't he have that match with Alex Cologne?
Yeah, I think he did, and he's
Like
also
a
been
month
announced
ago.
for Ruthless, right? Like Ruthless Pro
Yeah,
Wrestling. I think
yeah.
he's in King of
Yep,
the
he got
Kill or
announced for
something.
that.
Yeah, on that show, if not in that tournament. But yeah, it's interesting to see. But I know I've got the softest spot for Nick Gage, obviously. Like
Yeah, me too. Yep.
he's fucking when I started getting to GCW for the first time and stuff. Like the first GCW show I watched was Two Cups Stuffed, which is around the time of that Vegas trip I was talking about, but I didn't know what it was then. I probably could have gone to the fucking show, but the main was Nick Gage versus Effie, like for the GCW title, and I think it was one of Effie's first death matches, and it was fucking so good.
Yeah, I remember watching that. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to.
My first experience with Nick Gage was one of the first GCW shows I went to at the Voltage. It was the first one.
Yeah.
This is back when like all these guys were still just like faces on a TV to me, even though it was just through fight. I'm not no huge celebrity status, and they're not. But I was like, wow, there he is. But I didn't know what to think of Nick Gage because you just hear nothing but like controversial stuff about Gage.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know what to think. But we're standing in line or whatever, and I feel like I'm standing in line, and I feel this hand come on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's him, and he's like, y'all ready for the show? And starts like dapping everybody up. And
that's sick.
Then he walks in, and I just look at my friends, and they're all new to this stuff too. And I was like, yo, that was fucking Nick Gage.
Yeah.
And we were like starstruck at the time. Now I'll just go up to Gage and talk to him. But that was my first experience with him, and every single time has been a pleasant experience. And he's the man.
Yeah. So. When cameos were big, it still exists, but I've got it somewhere and I played it on this podcast. But my mate Travis got me a cameo from Nick Gage. Nice. Fucking for my birthday, but also like a shout out to the podcast. It's like, don't fuck with that motherfucking podcast. Like, it's so fucking
Somebody
good.
got me one for Vinyls and Violence too. Yeah, I have one also.
Exactly. Yep. He's so good. Like when he cuts those promos and stuff, his positivity is absolutely infectious. I bought a shirt off him directly just through PayPal when he did you see the one? It was like Nick Gage and it's like the Pantera sort of logo. Mm-hmm. It's like Nick Gage in that.
I have that one too. Yep.
Yeah, within the pictures, him doing the tubes on Arquette or whatever. And he was it was actually the best shirt buying experience I've ever had from the States. And it was just like, it wasn't through a website. It wasn't through any bullshit. It was just direct through here with PayPal. That shit fucking rocked up here. Like, cool. And he fucking, like, he forgot to tell me you've got to choose like friends or whatever, so it doesn't like sting him a fee or whatever. He was like, "Oh fuck, I forgot to tell you this thing," and I was like, "That's cool. I'll just transfer you the extra $5, whatever it was." He's like, "Should have told you, my bad." Blah blah. And he was great, like And I'm like, "Fuck," So yeah, I guess
I have a great shirt buying experience that I want to tell you off recording. I probably shouldn't mention this person, but remind me about that. It's it's a funny story.
We'll talk about it. Well, as we start to wrap this up, we'll quickly touch on. So some of the stuff I've got coming up will be over in Melbourne. We've got to get tickets now, but the ICW No Holds Barred Australia weekend has been announced in conjunction with Deathmatch Down Under's Dream Tag Team Deathmatch Tournament. And yeah, very excited for that. So, I mean, I've got to get flights, but we want to go over for that. There's potential some fun opportunities and things like that to catch up with those guys. So, really looking forward to that. Back when we started Dude, Where's My Ring? I don't know if you remember, but the main event was a tag team death match between The Pulse, Felix Young, and Jared Slade versus Joel Bateman and James Hartness.
Okay.
And in the promo lead up to that, Felix and I had spoken about how fun it was, and I was like, we should do a fucking tag team deathmatch tournament. That would be sick. And he's like, we absolutely should do that. 2 years later, we didn't. We have not done that. And now Deathmatch Down Under have announced they're doing it, and I couldn't be more fucking pumped. And for the record, that's not me saying they ripped me off and listened to this interview from 2 years ago. It's a thing that's happened before. You know what I mean? Like, but very fucking excited to have one in Australia, and very excited to get over and see it. And then when they told me about the No Holds Barred stuff coming in, that's going to be so cool. And on the lead up to that, and then also ICW No Holds Barred, which is going to be in Japan, we are going to be there for that. My wife and I are going to Japan at that time. Like, the timing worked out really well. We were kind of going to go the month before or the month after, and we're like, fuck it, let's just go when they're there. So we just shifted it. And so there's going to be a lot of like fun stuff. And I've already started teeing up interviews again to sort of do some promo on the road to that. So I think that's going to be really fun, touching base with various faces that will be appearing on those shows or working on those shows and things like that. So that'll be some fun stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm very excited to get back into it. It's got me feeling a bit excited about wrestling again. I was talking to our mutual friend people the other day, and I'm like, I feel like I've been fucking fighting to enjoy wrestling lately. A lot of modern,
I feel that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the mainstream stuff, and that isn't for me. Except for John Cena's heel turn. Absolutely, that's for me. But everything else, I don't give a fuck about. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's it. And then, besides that stuff, I think the main thing we were talking about driving, we're talking about traveling, we've got to add something to our playlist as well.
Yeah. I'm. Do you have anything you want to add, or?
You know what? I am going to. So we just actually started with a group of friends, and you're in it, a Spotify Music League, and the playlist dropped for that for the first time. And we've all been listening to that. The judging hasn't happened yet, so we don't know who everybody's picks are. But amongst all of that stuff, there was a band called Traders.
Yes.
And I had not heard them before. Before hearing that fucking song, but I was like, this is everything. And then I watched one of the video clips, and the dude's literally wearing an Austin 316 shirt. So I was like, this seems very appropriate. So I want to add Traders to it, and I reckon the songs would be, let's do SBC, definitely, which stands for Suicide by Cop, if you didn't know. Then let's put in Release and No Witness. Yeah, let's do 3.
Okay.
They'll be my 3 additions. Boom.
I'm adding them right
now.
now.
I fucking went on a listening tear of them last night. So
yeah, they're really good. Yeah. They're one of those bands that I know I like, but I don't listen to enough of.
Yeah.
And I need to start checking them out, because I know their new album is really sick.
Yeah, they're cool, man. They're really heavy stuff. Like, and the song that was chosen for the music league, that SBC, has quite a dynamic start to it. You know, it's got this kind of like opening sort of breakdown thing where it's got like a sample of like a phone's engaged tone, and then it like cuts off, and then it's just like this sort of rapid fire vocal before kicking into like just like ridiculous bass drops. Like, if you fucking listen to with headphones with the fucking bass up, because it's bullshit.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go with the band Eminence. I've been listening to them a lot lately, because I'll be seeing them in about 2 or 3 weeks now.
Oh, sure.
And I'm gonna get. I'll throw 3 songs on there too. I'm gonna go with God Fearing Man, The Black, and Erase. I like those songs a lot.
Okay, yeah, cool.
But they're playing with Landmarks. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 weeks from now, but I know it's coming up, and I'm very excited for that. So I've been listening to them a lot.
Great.
They're the band that has the dude, the vocalist is like a violinist, so he's like playing the violin the whole
Oh,
time.
really? Oh, actually, I
Yeah,
think you sent me a video of these guys
probably.
a
Yeah,
little while ago. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's my choice for the week. So
that's sick. Well, I'm sure we're going to have more because we're going to be exposed to a whole bunch of new music every single week as we run through our
yep,
music league, which is pretty fun. And we've got some fun categories and stuff in there too, so it's going to keep
yeah,
us guessing. Absolutely. Well, everybody out there, thanks for listening. Just a bit of a quick one today. Hopefully, all of my dog's fuckery is edited out, but if you heard it, apologies. It cannot be helped. Alex, tell people where to find you online.
just vinyls and violence on Instagram. That's where I linger mostly. Yeah, that's about it.
That is great. And of course, you can catch us at Faces Feels Cast in all of the various locations. Alex and I will be back in coming weeks. We'll be talking some more trash. And yeah, keep a lookout. I've already got some interviews in the pipeline. You know how it is. You don't talk about them until they actually exist because that's how wrestling works. But yeah, some fun stuff on the way as I start to churn out some interviews again. I've had a little bit of a break and I'm starting to feel hungry to get that content out. So let's see how it goes, eh? All righty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for your time. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Remember, it's all about peace, love, and pro wrestling. Peace out. Thanks for listening. Faces and Feels is a proud member of the Count Out Podcasting Network. It is created and hosted by me, Rafe Houston, edited by myself and the amazing Ryan Neitze, and the show is available on all good podcast platforms, so please go rate and subscribe. You can follow the show everywhere on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. at Faces Feels Cast, and you can check out the Count Out Network and all our sister shows over there at Count Out Pod. If you'd like to book me for commentary, have an interview request, a topic suggestion, or you just want to say hi, you can email us at facesandfeels@gmail.com. With all that said, thanks for listening, and please support our friends and sponsors. Peace.
My body is a roadmap of pain.
DeathmatchWorldwide.com, the official online merchandise store that is only for deathmatch wrestling. Featuring official t-shirts from No Peace Underground, John Wayne Murdoch, Akira, Madman Pondo, Zona 23, Neil Diamond Cutter, G Raver, Schlack, Necro Butcher, and many more. If you are a deathmatch wrestling, promotion, manager, or platform and are interested in joining the web store, send us an email to deathmatchworldwide@yahoo.com. Deathmatchworldwide.com for the violent feud.
This has been a Count Out Podcast.
Hey, have you guys heard of the new show on the Count Out Network, the Ichiban Sweetcast?
It's the brand new New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast starring the International Wrestling Grand Prix. That's me, your good friend Curtis Spears.
And me, your bad friend Rafe Houston. And we're here to talk about everything New Japan Pro Wrestling, reacting to everything, getting worked up, getting very happy, sometimes crying. Kind of like something else we used to do, right?
Oh, yeah. That was the old Okada Shorts podcast, right?
Ah, that's right. And if you love that show, you're going to love this show because it's exactly the same show.
Yeah, we just had to change the name.
Yeah, we did. But you can check it everywhere on a social media handle that we haven't made yet.
Yeah, we're really new to this. So what you can do is search on your favorite podcast catcher of choice. Look for the Ichiban Sweetcast.
Sweetcast, Ichiban.